audio. In 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 audio.
Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and we have an interesting discussion. We have with us my friend, a Nice fan, to give you the analysis, the lowdown on Jim Radcliffe. I'm going to let you, brother, introduce yourself. Let them know who you are, your name, who you support. Obviously, the badge will show you behind you. Take it away, my brother.
Hi everyone, hi Said, thanks for the invite. Well, I'm Sky, I'm obviously a OGC Nice fan. I'm 30-something years old, starting not to count exactly, supporting Nice from my youth actually. I'm born and raised in Nice, at every game at the stadium for a few years now, and I'm producing a podcast called Avanti Nissa in French, obviously. By the way, I'm apologizing now for for my French accent and my poor English vocabulary, but I think I managed to get you some updates and some info about Jim Ratcliffe that's linked with Manchester United, and obviously we know him very well at Nice for 4 years now.
Absolutely. Make sure you go follow him. His podcast is in the description, so make sure you go
Thank
do
you.
that. I know, listen, even if you have to go to their Spotify, give them 5-star review. I'm sure that's going to be more than welcome. And if you speak French, even better. Let's start with Jim Radcliffe and talk to me about life before Jim Radcliffe. How was Nice doing before Jim Radcliffe?
Well, Nice for a few decades now is very, I don't know, maybe poor French club. We don't really have really much money until INEOS comes in 2019. We still managed to have a few European qualification. Around 1 year, every 2 years maybe, but never, except 1 or 2 seasons, a real competition with big clubs like Marseille, Lille, Rennes, and obviously Paris Saint-Germain. So when INEOS did come to OGC Nice in 2019, they said directly, the goal is to qualify for Champions League. Well, obviously we didn't qualify for Champions League, not before INEOS and not Sainz. So we're kind of disappointed by this side, but we are going to talk about it later. We still have good things to say about them, including a lot of money put on the transfer market, but obviously a lot of money for Nice is not a lot of money for Manchester United. Competing in Ligue 1 is not competing in Premier League. Competing with Marseille, Rennes, even Monaco is not competing with Manchester City. So I can understand that United fans prefer Qatar over Jim Ratcliffe, but still a few good things to say. But maybe you have other questions for now.
Yeah. No. That's amazing so far. So when he bought the club in 2019, how much did he buy the club for? How much was the rough amount he bought it for?
Around roughly, I think, 100 millions euros. It was, I think, overpaying because the club is not worth that kind of money. But still a big investment because back then Paris Saint-Germain, when the Qatar bought them, I think 10 years ago now, it was for 80 million euros. So it's a top buy for Ligue 1 standard. But it was definitely overpaying because the previous owners, well, they didn't want to sell it or at an amazing price like that.
Absolutely. So they bought the club 2019, and I'm just looking at your league finishes. So the first season they had Patrick Vieira in charge. You finished 6th. The next season you finished 9. Then you finish very good. Christopher Gattier, who's the manager of PSG now, finished 5th. This season you had the former Swiss manager? Is it?
Lucien Favre. Yes.
It's a Favre, and then he sacked.
Yes.
And then
it's
now they have
our former captain as a player, and it was assistant coach this season and a few seasons back also Didier Digard.
Yeah, I heard that there was some kind of I would say unrest. I don't think the fans did they want him to be sacked, Favre, or was it a rush decision? Because people are explaining that it wasn't the best situation to do at that point to get the sacked manager.
It's a tough question, and I don't think we agree among OGC fans until today, because we have amazing memories with Lucien Favre back in 2016 and 17, because we finished 3rd on the league, our top ranking for 4 decades, I think. But this season, it was not really the same. It was more, I don't know how to say it. It was catastrophic because he didn't have the players he wanted. The club was changing a lot. We had our sporting director that left us during the transfer markets. So it was really not.
Why is that? Why would he do that, Jim Ratcliffe? Why would is that just a clash of personality, clash of ideas?
Well, clash of ideas, obviously, because Julien Fournier was in place for 10 years now, and INEOS wasn't really happy about the transfer market for the last seasons. But even more important, I think, it's clash of personalities with Christophe Galtier. You may be heard about racism allegations on Christophe Galtier.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, so Julien Fournier was strongly opposite to that, obviously, and it's a good thing. But INEOS managed this in a weird way. I don't know to say it properly, but we will talk about it later, obviously. And Julien Fournier didn't want to stay with Christophe Galtier on board. INEOS didn't want to keep Christophe Galtier at all costs, because of the racism allegations.
Okay.
So, well, I don't know. Everybody was like, "Fuck it, let's go elsewhere," because this club doesn't really know how to manage the next season. Fun fact, actually, INEOS confirmed Julien Fournier as sporting director at the end of the month of June last year,
Okay.
and I don't know, 2 weeks later, maybe, he announced that he was leaving because I think it's a bit of an insider info, but I think all these ideas, all the players he wanted to sign for the transfer markets that window. INEOS was just like, nah, thanks for the idea, but we have our own players. So, well, if he was basically useless, yeah.
That's very interesting because that's what the sporting director is there for. He's the middleman for the manager and the owner. So if you don't let him do his job, you're kind of undermining the situation. So do you think that he was the sporting director felt he was undermined by
Yeah.
INEOS?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it was clash of ideas, like you said earlier. I think Ineos wanted to go to the next level, or at least with someone different, and they wouldn't manage to find someone between the end of the season and the start of the transfer market. So they were like, yeah, stay a few months. It's okay if you still do that transfer market, but because Ineos wasn't okay with any of Julien Fournier ideas, he decided to left in the middle of the transfer market, and it's a bad way to start a season. I think Lucien Favre, well, he has own errors, but it wasn't really a good way to start a season anyway.
Absolutely. And in terms of your spending, the last 4 years, you spent, I think it's a 200 million overall.
Yeah, roughly, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously that's not bad.
That's really a lot of money for OGC Nice. We broke a lot of time our top record signing, and well, that winter transfer window with Terem Moffi for 30 million, but it's a lot of money for Ligue 1 for Ligue 1 outside PSG, but it's nothing for Premier League. So I'm really surprised that Jim Radcliffe is trying to buy Manchester United. Obviously, it's his boyhood club. He's a fan of the club, so okay for sentimental reason. Yeah, it's maybe a bit of storytelling, I guess, but officially it's because it's his boyhood club. But I don't seem wealthy enough to compete with top Premier League clubs. So I'm kind of surprised. Maybe with the help of the Glazers, and I know it's a hot topic here, but I don't really know. Actually, in France, when we were reading the first rumors about Ineos and Qatar competing for Manchester United, we were like, okay, it's easy shot for Qatar because Qatar is so much richer than Jim Ratcliffe. But now we're reading mixed thing, and we're like, oh shit, maybe we're going to be brother clubs with Manchester United. Is that good for us? It's a big debate among OGC's fans too.
Yeah, because obviously there's a conflict of view. We will talk about that as well. But just to go back on your point there, you said you were surprised, but is this why you think he maybe doesn't have the facilities to compete? You know, when you look at the spending he's done now, do you think he can have that money? Do you think by the research of INEOS and what they're about, I know they spent a lot of money there, but do you think he can get that money that's needed for Manchester United?
I would be surprised too, and I think the problem about INEOS, especially in Nice, is not money, because, as I said earlier, they spend a lot of money, but they spent it. Well, we actually don't know why, because you said our rankings in Ligue 1 for the past 4 years. If you look at our rankings earlier, it's more or less the same thing. So we are not really a better club now than we were the 5 years before the arrival of INEOS. So okay, we spend a lot of money. We have sexier players like Aaron Ramsey, Terem Moffi, Gaëtan Laborde, Kefren Turam, Jean-Claire Todibo, a lot of young and less young player, but with a name and with some sexiness. But we are not really a better club. We lost the last Coupe de France final. We are not better in Ligue 1. So it's really bad spendings, and I don't think even with more money, with money at Manchester United levels, my principal interrogation is who will direct the sporting politics, and with the help of which sports director, which agents, they will make Manchester United a bigger, a better club. They didn't manage to do it at Nice. Okay, by some points it's not easy because of the financial fair play. We don't have the earnings that Manchester United can have because of merchandising, ticketing.
Yes.
But they did a very poor choice on the transfer market, and I'm afraid without the help of a real sporting director and a top European one for the level of Manchester United, they will do the same mistakes actually in Manchester than they made in Nice.
Right now, by the way, just to kind of reiterate, have you got a sporting director right now at Nice?
Yes, since last October, I think we have Florent Ghisolfi. He was the sporting director in RC Lens. It's kind of the new hot club in France because they managed to compete for the title with Marseille and Paris Saint-Germain this season. It's a lower club. They're really working well for a few seasons. They were in Ligue 2 in back in 2018 or 19, I think. It was very recent, and now they managed to compete for the podium. So he came to Nice. He actually worked on the winter transfer market, where when we take Terem Moffi and Yusuf also from Turkey, but we don't know what is going on for the next window. It will be his first real test, actually, to show is worthy of INEOS ambitions for Nice.
Mm. And in terms of the infrastructure, I don't know if you know. I don't know what that word is in French, but you know the stadium, the training ground. Has he put money into that as well for Nice?
A lot actually.
Okay.
So the stadium is kind of new because is 10 years. It is 10 years old. So INEOS wasn't here. It was built for the Euro in France in 2016.
16, yeah.
We had a new facility ground. 10 years old also, maybe a little more, but this year actually it's under construction. Jim Radcliffe himself decided to put it down. He's just keeping the wall, and inside everything is changing the structure to do a new thing. I think it's supposed to be opened in the following weeks by that summer. And INEOS have big plans for I don't know, to put it a sports complex maybe to assemble OGC Nice, but also their other sport activities, Formula One, cycling, and everything in Nice near the OGC Nice training ground. So we had to buy a lot of grounds also, and to build. I don't have the English words, but to do facility for research in aerodynamics for cycling, and so they really want to build a division of INEOS Sports. I think we are going to talk about it later, but they bring in INEOS Sport Jean-Claude Blanc from PSG, maybe one of the top people on his kind in Europe. So they really show ambition and investment, I think it's not well. You can't see it on the ground and on the linear ranking for now because they were poorly advised, and well, we made poor decision on the transfer windows. But they had real intentions to do better with OGC Nice. We are a bit confused about the difference, the gap between the ambitions and the results. But hopeful that it will be better starting this summer.
Mm. In terms of Jim Radcliffe, I want to ask you, do you, from what you kind of perceive of him and the time he's been here, do you see him as a businessman or do you see him as a footballing man? Like, because obviously we have the Glazers and they're not really
Yeah.
footballing people. They don't really care if we win anything. They'll take their dividends and they'll kind of move on. From what you can gather on, maybe the ultras, the people who maybe come week in, week out, the match going fans, do you see them as as him as a footballing person or as a businessman?
I think both actually.
Okay.
He likes football. I'm not sure the Glazers even know of the offside rule, for example, but
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure Jim Ratcliffe likes football, but is not really interested in OGC Nice or in winning trophies. He's not passionate about OGC Nice. Maybe he will be with Manchester because of his special link with the club, because he is a Manchester man after all. But it's well, just one fact. We were playing a very important game against FC Basel a few weeks ago in Conference League. It was the first quarterfinal in Europa for Nice since 1960, so an eternity. And he left during extra time because he was afraid of a traffic jam outside the stadium. So okay. It's a very, very important game, but you don't want to be stuck with your car among other
That's very
fans,
weird.
and you don't want to know the results, or maybe on the radio or on his phone. But we were like, okay, it was like a generation defining game, and he just left because he was afraid of traffic jams. So
How
I
far does he
can
live though? How far does he live from the? Do you know where he kind of his?
no, during extra time. So well, and we lost and all, but it's a bit weird. And also a fun fact, it's more a rumor, but it is said among your OGC fans that actually he wants to destroy and rebuild the facility grounds, because once he get lost while he was visiting the offices. So you don't really know if he's passionate, concerned by OGC Nice, or if it's just, well, it was only 100 millions. I want to enjoy a few football games because he is living, sorry, near in Monaco, and it's not really an ambition to bring OGC Nice to the top of the European scene.
Mm. It's interesting because I don't know. That is very very weird because if you're there for 90 minutes, you're there for 90 minutes. You're there for the whole game. It's what's a little bit of traffic. It's not going to harm him, isn't it? You know what I mean? So that is a bit weird. And that kind of raises a question. And someone's asking, has he got a season ticket at Monaco as well? I don't know if has he got a season ticket at Monaco as well?
I don't think so.
No. I think someone just tried
He's
to.
not, he's not even there for every OGC Nice game. He's there like half a dozen times in a season, I think. And funny thing also about Jim Ratcliffe, for a few years, I think until last year, he never saw a victory when he was at the stadium. So it was even a joke among OGC Nice fans, like, "Oh shit, the boss is here. We're going to lose." But
sorry to hear, man. We hopefully, like I said, if he is going to be the new owner, man, we don't need that bad luck. But it's kind of a strange thing for Nice fans at the minute because there is that conflict of interest. OGC Nice, you never know in football. You could want to play Champions League. You have the ambition to play in the Champions League. But the problem is, and I'm going to ask you, is this a worry for you? Is that if he does buy Man United and keeps OG Nice, one club will have to miss out on the Champions League. They could be in the Europa League, which again still wouldn't be a bad thing for Nice. No disrespect, but is that something that you? It's like the Super League. It's almost like getting rid of the feeling of wanting to be ambitious.
Yeah.
You know, like you never know.
That's,
You know.
That's exactly my feeling. So as I said earlier, it's a big debate among Argentine fans because some people are saying, well, we are not going to compete for winning the Champions League anyway. So it can be helpful to have a bigger club helping us with youth and to help us to buy our best young players to have an amount of cash regularly for our transfer windows. But personally, I think it's kind of well, running a dream. You know, INEOS came like we have a lot of money. We are INEOS. We're winning in cycling. They now even in Formula One, and they were interested in investing in our little club in France. So yes, we are going to win titles, to compete in Champions League, maybe to win Conference or Europa League. But now they were investing in Manchester United. It's like, yeah, okay, so you're going to stay the little club, and we have top priorities, but it won't be OGC Nice anymore. It will be Manchester United. So obviously you can win. I think you can win Liga or win a Champions League spot from Liga with a ridiculous amount of money. Like I think on one season, 50 million or 100 million on the transfer window, it will be enough. So you can spend $500 million for Manchester United and keep 10% of that money and still be competitive in Liga. So we won't be ruined, we won't be out of touch in Liga. But yes, like you said, you still want to dream that your club one day, because you have at the right time the right team to be among the stars. And with INEOS and Jim Radcliffe buying Manchester United, you took out a bit of that dream to a Nice fan, actually.
It's interesting because, like I said, it's been there for 4 years now. What has been the kind of, maybe you would say, positives first on that kind of 4 years you've seen there? Or do you say, obviously you said the stadium, have you felt like you've had a new lease of life? Because beforehand maybe you weren't maybe competing and whatnot. You say you was in the Coupe de France, the final and whatnot. So do you feel like there's been positives here? Because there's a lot of people who want the Qatars. They got the money, but ultimately, if we're gonna have the Jim Ratcliffe, we want to hear some good stuff to have some hope.
Sure.
So what kind of hope do you think you could give to the Man United fans that he could do something there before we go into the negatives of him?
Okay, I don't know if it will be positive thing from United fans, because we are very different clubs. You want to compete for the Premier League title, to win the Champions League, and we are not at that level, at least for now. So INEOS did actually bring some positive stuff. We spent a lot of money on transfer market, and maybe we will be even lower in the ranking in Liga if we weren't able to compete with Marseille on some player, with Lille, with Rennes. So I think our place now is in top 5 or top 8 of the league, and maybe without the INEOS money, we will be on the lower table. But well, definitely thanks for that to them. But more important, I think we managed to keep and to bring a sexier player, like a player like Jean-Claire Todibo, our central defender.
We'll talk about him, by the way.
Okay, perfect. Or even Kefren Turam now is in a French national team. That kind of player, we could have bring them to OGC Nice by the past, but we will have sell them after 1 year, 1 season or 2 seasons maybe, at the first nice offer around 20 or or 40 million euro. Now you can say, no, we're going to keep them. We're going to compete in Europe. Here, take your high wage we could not have offer by the past, and we can ask for 50, 60, 70 millions to Manchester United, to Liverpool, to Paris Saint-Germain for these people. So now we can keep a bit more our most gift players, and sadly we have a lot of poor and bad players, so we can't be a top team in France. But it's definitely needed if we want to grow up as a club.
And how's your debts looking at your debt? Are you in any financial trouble? Is it financial stable, your club now? Is he leaving your club in a better place if he does leave? Like, where are you in that kind of financial situation now?
I don't think they will leave anyway, because nobody will pay now what they paid 4 years ago for OGC Nice. We're a bit in trouble actually in the financial department. You have to take into consideration that French league, in a more general way, is into trouble because of COVID and other problem with TV rights. But we're not really in a good shape. But we have a debt that is easily refundable by selling one or two players. So I think we're exceptionally bad this year with 60 million debts, but selling Jean-Claire Todibo or Kefren Thuram will do. So it's not really a disastrous financial situation, hopefully.
That's a good point, and that's why sometimes you get the best talents from France. It's because sometimes they're a selling club, and this is how they have to sustain. You know what I mean? So
it's Ligue des Talents. It's called for a reason. We are the farmer league, as you said in England, but we have young players, very gifted, but we don't have money. So give us the money, we give you the players.
And your debt is nothing compared to the debt that we have. And this is the surprise, that he will have to take on and bear the debt that's on the football club. And again, was that a surprise to you? Whereas the Qataris are looking to offload it, whereas INEOS will get a bank and then they'll get a loan, and then it's all
because they don't have the kind of money that Qatar have, so they can't refund the debt, be competitive on the transfer market, and all of that shit. So I'm really surprised that the INEOS offer can be over the top, over the Qatar offer. But I understand from a financial point of view for the Glazers, because you're offering kind of the same amount of money for a lower part. So okay,
yes, 50%. Yeah. So, and this is the thing. This is why I kind of was talking about: is he business savvy? Do you think he's clever here, or do you think, like I said to you, he's just trying to get in the door? And have you seen a bit of cynicalness from him? A feeling of very, very cynical.
I think the relationship between Jim Ratcliffe and OGC Nice is very simple. He's living next door. He wanted to have a football club. It's cheaper to buy a football club in France than in Premier League. He tried before to buy Chelsea, to buy Newcastle. He was interested in Tottenham and whatever other club in sale for a time. But it was way easier to buy OGC Nice or any other French club. Before Nice, even both Lausanne in Switzerland for like, I don't know, 10 millions maybe. So it was an opportunity, and it was cheap for him to come and to have a football club just in the area he's living. Manchester United is a whole other level, so I'm really surprised. I don't know if he thinks he will be competitive. I think it's maybe a financial opportunity. I don't know what can be the goal for him, except he's from Manchester, and maybe it's really his club. But no, that's a mystery for me for now.
Yeah, there's maybe the sentiment. Maybe that's what he's trying to say, because obviously he's a Manchester United fan, and he kind of thinks, he can bring because he made a quote saying, "I can bring the Manchester into Manchester United," which everyone kind of was like very very wow.
Mm.
Like it's like it's like saying make the Parisian into PSG. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they feel like they're from the Paris. So I feel like that's where he's trying to go with. Ultimately, Qatar may drive up the bid again, and they might add 1 more billion onto the deal. So it's very, very interesting to see where this goes. I just want to talk about a player that we're linked with you, and that's
Mm.
the player called Jean-Claire Todibo,
Yes.
centre back. Tell me a bit about him because we were linked with him a couple of days ago. Centre back 23, isn't he?
Yes, it was called up for the first time on the French national team in the last international break. It's more or less the favorite player of OGC Nice fans for 2 years now. He is so gifted, so so perfect actually. Until the international break, I don't think he ever played a bad game for OGC Nice. He's really
Okay.
young, he's gifted, he's a leader also. It's a complete central defender, a modern central defender. So I think he will have a real bright future on top European clubs. Maybe it's 1 year too early to go to a top European club, but he will definitely reach that level one day or another.
Yeah. He's very quick, isn't he? Very, very athletic as well. Um, how much roughly would you reckon you could sell him for? 20, 30 million? Would that be the sort of
No, I think under 40 or 15, oh, for 50 million, you could not
wow.
manage to get it.
Even with Jim Ratcliffe maybe there, you know. Wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Is he from the academy, by the way, or did you buy him?
No, he's from Toulouse actually, who just won the French Cup. He went for his first pro contact to FC Barcelona. He very
Oh,
few appearances there,
oh,
and then he
yeah.
went to loans in Benfica and Schalke in Germany.
Oh,
It was not really a good time for him, so we when we bought him actually. It was out of 6 months without playing or with playing one game. So it was uh, really a gamble for us, and it was really a good idea actually for Julien Fournier, our sport director at that time.
yeah, and obviously you have Kemfer Turam as well, another top
Yes.
quality midfielder. He's the latest one now. Again, was he a product of Nice, or did you buy him as well? Or
He signed his first pro contact with us, but he went from the Academy of Monaco actually.
okay. And is he someone that you think will leave in the summer? Do you think PSG will come in for him? Because he's linked with PSG, isn't he?
Yes, I think one of the other of Jean-Claire Todibo or Kefren Turam will have to leave because of the financial issue we are doing, and because it's time, I think, more especially for Kefren Turam, because he's here for 4 years now. He reached French national team, and when you are a Nice player, it's really rare. So it's a top player and a top guy actually. I think he did his time in Nice, so I wish him the best for the next season. Probably elsewhere, we have really gifted and good players in middle field, so it will not be easy to replace him. But we have a decent squad in that area to handle his departure. So I think in is the most probable candidate to the departure that summer. Jean-Claire Todibo, he could leave, but it will cost really an expensive amount of money. But even for Kefren Turam, I don't see Nice selling him below 40 or 50 millions of euros too.
Yeah. Listen, it's the price now is going up and up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's spending money, so you have to make you have to make your money. Do you think Jim Ratcliffe has done well in the youth academy? Has he tried to, sort out, because our academy for us is not very great at the minute. Like I said to you, we want to get better. We see in Man City very, very good in terms of the academy. Has he worked with the academy? Has he done well in the 4 years that he's done?
Not at, not at all. Actually, we don't see any difference with our academy. Our academy is actually in kind of trouble because we have a very few players that go to the pro team. We especially buy young player from other teams like 17 or 18 years old players leaving their club to sign their first pro contact in Nice, but a very few players from the academy and maybe not the most gifted.
Wow, that's very, very interesting, because you want to see something and in there, and you see Monaco the way they do it as well. You
Yeah.
want to see that kind of style now. Obviously, right now with us, we're kind of not seeing that. A lot, and it's something that we kind of want to kind of work on. But just to kind of, before I get the questions of the panels
Sure.
for the last 15 minutes, what do you make of Man United? Do you think it can work with what we've got here? Do you like the Man United, the way we play? Do you watch a lot of Man United? What do you think of Man United?
I'm not watching a lot of Premier League actually because I'm I'm too busy with my own club producing my podcast, so I don't have very much time for other club. But Manchester United is an historical club, so you deserve the top of the Premier League. Is never a good thing to see such a big club failing to achieve great things. So I hope Jim Radcliffe or Qatar will bring Manchester United to the top of the Premier League again. But as I said, I don't see Jim Ratcliffe having the money, and more especially, it's not only about the money, but the ability to bring the right people to Manchester United to help the club to become what he was 10 years or 20 years ago.
Mm. There's a keeper we link with who plays for AC Milan. Is Mike Mania.
Yes.
Do you think he's a top keeper? Do you think Man United should go for him? Because David De Gea now maybe looking like we need to move him on now. He's been here for a long time now, 12, 13 years. Mike Mania, should he be the one that Man United should go for as a keeper for next season?
He's definitely the best French keeper. Now is the number one in French national team since Hugo Lloris, born in Nice actually, and from our youth academy. Yes, Mike Maignan is a top one choice in French goalkeepers, but I don't know. He actually did a few solid seasons in AC Milan, so I think now he has the European experience. But Premier League is always weird for keeper because you have to be stronger, to be, I don't know, tougher maybe than in other leagues. So I don't know how we will adapt, but I can't see Mike Maignan being a wrong choice actually.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure you get your questions in. Last 15 minutes, we're going to ask Sky his question. Some questions for you guys. So please get them in. I don't know if you've discussed this. Can you talk about Sir Dave Bradisfield and Jean-Claude Block on their role?
Yeah, sure. Very good question, actually, Ziad. So when I talk about our last summer transfer window that was managed awfully, well, I didn't mention the name of the guy in charge back then, but it was Dave Brailsford. Dave Brailsford came from the team INEOS in cycling. He came in OGC Nice after the departure of Julien Fournier, and he managed the world transfer window by himself with the help of an English agent, Ian Moody. Maybe you know him. He was involved in Crystal Palace for a few years. They bring poor people we actually never saw in games, in official games. He did manage to bring Aaron Ramsey because he's Welsh, like Dave Brailsford, but I don't think Dave Brailsford knows anything about football, so it was a bit weird to see him in charge of a football club. Hopefully now we have a real sporting director with Florent Ghisolfi, but it was dark times when Dave Brailsford was in charge. He even lived in his truck parked on the parking of OGC Nice facility. It was really weird, but we didn't have a good memory of him. Jean-Claude Blanc, he officially joined INEOS Sports in February. He's not properly linked to OGC Nice. He's really in charge of the whole INEOS Sports division, so Formula One, cycling, sailing, OGC Nice, and I think he was mandated to I don't know, pilots maybe the Manchester United operation. Maybe that's why he came for at the first place, but he's not really involved in OGC Nice day to day for now.
Okay. There's a question from Elias. Big up to Elias. He says, "Can you say there is anything that has impressed or excited you from Sir Jim Ratcliffe as an owner?" Anything
excited, yes. Excited, yes. The money. Actually, I wish I had the same amount of money of my bank account, but well, we were impressed that such a rich man was involved in OGC Nice. And as I said, I don't want to say only bad things about Jim Ratcliffe, because it's a chance, it's a real opportunity for OGC Nice today to have such a rich man owning the club and investing in transfer market, in developing the facilities and all that stuff. But we didn't see the result for now. Maybe we are a bit impatient. Maybe it will be better next year. But for now, it's just a lot of spendings and nothing else. So we'll see. And I don't know if it will be well, impressive for Manchester United fans, because you are used to well, deal with big amounts on transfer markets and to already have stars, European stars, top players. So I don't see him really bringing Manchester United to another level. And actually, I read something on Twitter a few days ago. I don't remember the source, so maybe it was not a really serious media from Manchester. But I read Jim Ratcliffe wants to bring, and it was three French players, I think, to Manchester United. I was like, okay, that's maybe the first time I read Jim Ratcliffe wanting players, because in Nice is deciding nothing in the sporting area. He even bring his brother Bob Radcliffe to manage the club in the early months of the INEOS takeover. So I'm not sure it's really information, because I don't think Jim Ratcliffe is involved in the decisions within the transfer market.
Absolutely. Ziad says here, does Jim talk to the fans, give interviews?
Nope. Maybe once in the local press, I think, but once in 4 years, but no.
Wow, that's mad. You know, maybe he feels like at home in Manchester. Maybe he might do.
Yeah, he's not French. He's not speaking French. Maybe he doesn't want to speak to local media, because he is not really involved in OGC's day-to-day. So maybe it will be different. I see him taking a big spot in a local Manchester press to say, yes, I'm back. That's my memory about Old Trafford, about Manchester when I was little. But he won't be the guy in charge on a daily basis. It will be the owner, and the owner is not the director or the president. True. He will control the club, and hopefully will put more competent and more convenient people in charge.
Absolutely. Matang Gabe says here, what was your team ranked on the season before Jim owned your club? So where did you finish?
I
Um,
think it was 7th or 8th place,
okay,
maybe something like
okay.
that.
Okay. Ashk, big up Ashk says, Saeed, how has Sky found the influx of Premier League players at OGC Nice and how have they fared? Ramsey, Barkley, Schmeichel, yeah, a couple of Premier League players that's come to the French league. How
Yeah,
they've,
we also had championship players, but let's talk about them
yeah,
anyway. So I think the only really successful transfer is Aaron Ramsey because he did had a tough time around and most especially after the World Cup because Wales was very quickly eliminated. He had to deal with family issues because
yeah,
his family stayed in England, so he was lonely. So okay, but now Aaron Ramsey is in our starting 11 at every game, so it's he's really some key players in OGC Nice, and actually we want to offer him a new 2 years contract. So
okay.
it's a good news for us from him, and he planned to bring his family to Nice. So he's really into the future of the club.
Mm,
Ross Barkley came after the transfer window early in September last year, and he did score a few goals early January, but never managed to really get into the starting 11. And for a few weeks or even months now,
mm,
we don't even see him anymore, or just a few minutes at the end of lost games. So he will definitely leave Nice next month.
mm.
That's a shame, but I think he's really out of shape. He looks like a very tired, or I don't know, uh, even sometimes injured player on the
Yeah,
field. So I don't know why. I don't know if we missed something with him because obviously he's very gifted.
yeah,
We
very
all
good,
know Ross
very good.
Barkley from the English national team, but it, it didn't work out in Nice.
Mm.
And Kasper Schmeichel, oh boy, I think is the most discussed player in this actually because he came with his name and the Leicester legacy in Nice. We were like, yay! Actually, I was at his presentation downtown. I checked him when he came, but he never managed to be really a top goalkeeper. We missed actually our previous goalkeeper. We have a young number 2 with Marcin Bulka. He was injured for a few months, but now we just want to see him back on the starting 11 and back on the pitch. I wouldn't be surprised actually to see Kasper Schmeichel leaving
Wow.
next summer. It will be difficult for him to find a club offering him the same wage and the same contract length than Nice. But if you have any opportunity to see him leaving, I think he will take it. Last winter, when Bayern Munich was looking for a keeper after
Yeah,
Manuel Neuer injury,
yeah.
they asked Kasper Schmeichel to come. But finally, they went for Jan Sommer because we didn't manage to find a new keeper to replace Schmeichel.
Wow, that's crazy because he was a very important player of Leicester, and when
Mm.
they left, I was like, "Wow, why is he leaving?" But maybe Rodgers knew that he wasn't. Maybe,
Because
maybe.
we offered a 3 years contract and he's 36, so
Yeah.
it was a good
Wow.
opportunity for him.
Yeah. Question: do they have any green protesters there against the gym?
Nope, it's not even a topic here.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, 100%, definitely not. Um, Saeed, have you asked about Radcliffe's brother managing team issues? Is that true? Radcliffe's brother managing team issues. I'm not sure if that's.
Well, I don't know if I got the question properly. So if you have any details,
Yeah, let us know about the details.
let's break it. But he did appointed Bob Radcliffe as not president but special advisor, or I don't know I don't remember the title exactly. Within the few months after INEOS takeover, but it was not really a good man, and at least not for that mission. So you went then to Lausanne, and now I think he's not even managing Lausanne. So he's just out of OGC's area.
Junior here says here, did Sir Jim buy 100% of your club? And if
Yes.
so, was it by loans? I think it was just 100% because he was so
Cash.
not expensive.
But it was
you know.
only 100 million, so it was easy for him.
Yeah, very easy for him. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, man. If there's any more questions here that I see, when you see a press conference, when you see the press conference, OG Leeds coaches, do they like a manager look like when he's always happy, frustrated, or not happy? How would you say his the facial expressions is the coaches?
I'm going to answer the question differently.
Okay.
Since INEOS takeover in 2019, we had I think 5 different coaches. So
Wow.
obviously, it didn't really work out well for any of
yeah.
the ones.
Is he very kind of like when he's like getting rid of the manager? Is there a reason behind it? Like when the fans look at it, thinking, hold on a minute, like, why is he sacking him? Like, do you think?
No, it was always for a good reason. Patrick Vieira, it wasn't working. It was his 3rd season in Nice, and it was not a good season, and we wanted to go to another level. We bring his assistant until the end of the season, Adrian Urcea. So it wasn't planned to keep him for the following season. Things didn't work out for obvious reasons with Christophe Galtier. Aside the racism allegation, then PSG came, and we can all understand that if you have the opportunity to train PSG, you just go. And then we talk about Lucien Favre and Didier Digard. So it's 5, and we are really hopeful that the next coach will be the good one, and it will stay at least more than one season.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm going to become an OGC Nice fan now. You know, because you've kind of sold it for me. So my French club will be OGC Nice. So big up
and
to
you're
you.
welcome on the French Riviera anytime.
There we go, man. When I go there, you're gonna take me to the nice,
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Sky, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the invite, and sorry again for my French accent.
No. Listen, you speak better English than Harry Kane. You know, some players, they don't have the same English as you, man. So
it's okay for a French guy, but still poor English.
No. I think you've done well. Honestly, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Let them know again where they can find you, your podcast, and please, guys, make sure you give him a 5-star review. I know you guys probably not Nice fans, but go there, support him. But let the people know where they can find you, what you do, and yeah, man, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Well, you can find Avanti Nissa in every major platform: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. So it's obviously in French, but if you are speaking or at least understanding French, you're welcome to listen us. We are talking about every game on Sunday or Monday after the game, and we are going to do to give our advice about last season in the following weeks, and obviously on the transfer market during our summer.
Yeah.
And maybe in the Manchester United takeout, we don't know.
But there you go, exactly. And like I said, make sure you go do that. People say Messi Baku. That's very good. So yeah,
Thank you.
make sure you go follow him. And hopefully this was kind of clarified a bit more about Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've understood some things. Hope some things are cleared up for you. Maybe it could give you a more clearer outlook as to who Sir Jim Ratcliffe is, because there's a lot of people who are kind of thinking Jim Ratcliffe is that person, but we have to be impartial. We have to give both sides of the story. So I hope I've kind of covered that for you. Please like the video on your way out. Please do so. Subscribe if you're new. I will see you soon, guys.